Hi everyone, welcome once again to A.O.S Abroad. Thank you very, very much for joining today. Really do appreciate you for coming on live on this live session. Really do appreciate everyone for taking time to be part of this live session once again. It has been long I've worn this cap. This is one cap that far back from Nigeria I was used to wearing. Okay, that's on a light note. It reminds me of my lecturer, one of my lecturers in school, Dr. Friday or two. I like to wear this fila BT Oja from Department of Linguistics, University of Ilorin, Kwara State. Okay, so um, starting our live session today, let me first introduce myself. As you know, I will do it. I'm Aziz Shudiru from Ontario, Canada, and today let me try to button if I can see how to button this. Okay, yeah. Okay, it's not going to be too tight for it. Okay, all right. So today, once you are joining us, let us know your name, let us know your location. To really help us to fine tune our discussion today to those that we are actually having the live session with. So this is Shodiru Aziz from Ontario, Canada. So let us know your city where you're reaching out us from, where you're joining us from, your city and your country. That would really help us. Okay, I see some people already. BBQ has joined on TikTok. I've seen some people join on Instagram and those joining on YouTube. And likewise, our clients from StreamYard. Welcome, everyone. And today's discussion is centered on the um, article, which is traveling to Canada this summer. It's in the form of a question. So we are asking, are you traveling to Canada this summer? Because we have quite some people on our own client base that are also traveling to Canada. Some are traveling as visitors, tourists. You understand? Those that are coming to visit family members or going to coming to tour the country. Some are in the process of getting their study permits to come study, you understand, for the September intake. Some are also coming for work because we have had some people through our um, partner, through our immigration consultant. They got their job offer, and some of them are coming to Canada to actually start work with their employer. So at least we have a sizable amount of people that are coming to Canada, you understand, this summer. So the question now goes thus that are you traveling to Canada this summer? If you are traveling to Canada, what do you need to know about inadmissibility? What do you need to know about, you understand, entering into the country and not being rejected back or, you understand, deported back? Because there have been some sizable amount of people right now that they get their visas, yes, they get the jobs they apply to, or maybe they were invited to come for tourism by a family member or a friend, or perhaps they even got the opportunity to seek admission and they were accepted in a school. Some of them may have even paid, they may have paid the first installment of their tuition fee. But sometimes it may not go as planned. When you arrive at the airport, or you at the seaport, or at the land port, but due to your track record of whether medical issues or your track record of criminality, you are actually sent back home to your home country. We hope and we pray that doesn't happen to any of our clients or anyone that is actually joining us on this live session, but it does happen. So, how can we prevent it? That's the reason why we're having this conversation. All right, Frederick, um, Praise, hi, good evening. Hello, we're also greeting you. Hello. Here we are in the afternoon here in Canada. This I think this is still around 3:30. So we are still in the afternoon. Okay. So that's Frederick Praise from Instagram. We also have other people joining on TikTok and some also joining on YouTube. So if you are joining, just like I said before, let us know your name, let us know your city or and your country. Where are you joining us from? Let us interact with one another. We know about Frederick Praise now, but we don't know where he's reaching us from. Okay, now without wasting much time, let's go into the crux of the matter for today. Today, we are going to be centering our discussion on the article which was written by CIC News, or which was written by one of the writers, Janice Rodriguez. If you have been joining us, you know that this is one particular author or one particular writer that always talk about immigration on the CIC News website, cicnews.com. That's Canada Immigration and Citizenship.com website. Okay, Frederick Praise said, my name is Praise. Frederick Praise says, I'm chatting from Nigeria. Thank you very much. Which country, which city in Nigeria? Is it Lagos? Is it Abuja? Is it Port Harcourt? Is it Kano? Where exactly are you reaching out to us or joining us from? Would like to know. All right, thank you. So I, for instance, I said I'm Aziz Shuler from Ontario, Canada. The city where I am currently is Ontario, Canada. Now, moving on. For those that are on YouTube, you could have seen the link. I've shared the link of the article that we are going to be discussing. For those that are not on YouTube, you can just go on cicnews.com, letter C, letter I, letter C, news.com, and you can go search the article that says traveling to Canada this summer, what you need to know about inadmissibility. All right. So Frederick Praise is saying, please do you process admission? In a nutshell, yes, we assist to actually work on admissions. It's the schools that process admission. You understand? But we assist through our immigration partners as well to help you get admissions in maybe like schools, in colleges, in universities, in polytechnics, in vocational training institutes. You understand? Anywhere, or in even secondary schools for those that are doing OSSD, Ontario Secondary School Diploma. We also assist in various amounts of ways. Oh, okay. It says I'm chatting from Benin. Okay, Benin in Nigeria. Oh, thank you very much. Thanks for informing us about your location. All right, moving on. So let's now talk about what was written on the article by Janice Rodriguez. This was an article that was published on June 13, 2025. So it was published just 2 days ago. Oh, okay. Frederick Praise says yes, university. Oh, okay. Well, now you heard it. We assist, you understand, with that. Licensed immigration consultant. He also has affiliations or partnerships, so to speak, collaborations with some colleges, with some universities, and of course, he can also assist you. We work with him to work with those universities to get people admissions, to work on study permits and things like that to, you understand, his organization. All right, so moving on. So if you want any assistance on that, you can just DM us. You understand? Get to sign up for our package. We have various packages on our website, aos.nim.ng. You can just go on our profile. Once you go on our profile, whether on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, click on the link there. Once you click on the link, you get access to our website and you'll be able to actually get to work on any of the packages, whether it be the study package that is there, the work package, the permanent residence package, visitor pack, any of those packages, you'll be able to see them there and get started with that. Okay, now let's move on. So this article today is talking about you traveling to Canada this summer. And it says summer is a peak time for traveling to Canada. You understand? It's a peak time for not only visitors, not only travelers, but even permanent residents too, even workers, temporary foreign workers, even what they call it, even students, international students. Why? Because this is a time that a lot of activities are ongoing, a lot of activities are springing up, and people are getting out there. People are not confined to their, you understand, houses again, but they are going out to have fun. So it is always a peak time, you understand, for traveling to Canada this summer period. And if you are thinking about a visit, if you are thinking of coming to visit, it is important that you are aware of the country's admissibility rules. When they say admissibility, basically, what does it mean? When it comes to admissibility, all what they're just trying to say is that for you to be able to enter the country, you have to be someone that is not a threat to the country. You have to be someone that has a clean record, or if not even have a clean record, has been rehabilitated. So we are going to still explain all that. But what they are saying is that if you are not a Canadian citizen, if you are not a Canadian citizen, and you want to seek entry, you want to enter the country for either an event, for a visit, you understand, visiting family, you could be denied that entry if officials at the port of entry, officials at the airport, if they find you inadmissible on the basis of what? On the basis of criminality. That is the number one reason that they could use to deny you. If they see that you are inadmissible based on the fact that you have committed some serious offenses, some serious breach, you are basically, or you have been convicted as a criminal in your home country or even elsewhere that you are living, then they may deny you entry into the country. So in this article, the CIC News, you understand, are going to cover how to know if you might be found criminally inadmissible and steps you can take, you understand, to what? To overcome the criminal inadmissibility so that you can what? You can enter Canada. Now there's something about Canada, and that thing is nothing is sealed, nothing is signed and sealed that okay, this thing is forever. Even though yes, of course, there are different levels. For instance, if you're in Canada and they give you a removal order, do you understand? Removal order is different from deportation order. Deportation order is different from, you understand, the letter that they give you that they say you should leave the country, basically. And there are different levels to it. There's an order that if you have gotten, it is like a for life thing. You cannot enter Canada again. However, even that one that is like deportation order for life, if it is something that you can still appeal, even though most of them they'll say you can't appeal it again, or if it's something that you can still reapply after serving your term, maybe you were given 5 year ban, for instance, after serving your term, if they say that okay, there's something that you can now apply, there's something that you apply for the TRP. We are going to go talk about it, and this I believe it's going to be in this article. But what we are just trying to say is that even things that you feel that is final, even things that you feel that oh this thing no, it is not possible again. Sometimes they can reassess your eligibility. Sometimes they can see if you have basically repented and if they can now make you re-enter, you understand, the country or reapply to enter the country. So let's look in deep now. What do we mean by all this? Firstly, what is criminal inadmissibility? When we're talking about criminal inadmissibility, what do you need to know? Is that only Canadian citizens have the right to enter Canada. Now, this is very important, and that's why sometimes it pays for you to have a citizenship. You understand? For you to have, and I even always tell people, it pays for you to quickly have the citizenship because we have seen in situations whereby people have stayed in Canada for 7 years, for 10 years, for 12 years, but at the end of the day, the Canadian government will still tell them that okay, oh, because you don't have status, or because you're an illegal immigrant, or you have status, your status is yet is soon expiring, then you have to leave the country. You'll now be wondering that this person has been in Canada for donkey years, some people more than even a decade. You understand? But that does not, just like it happens in the US. That does not mean because you have it, you can't what? You can't lose that right to what? Enter and to stay in Canada. But being a citizen of a country, for instance, in Nigeria, if you are a citizen of Nigeria, by right of your citizenship, you can't be told to leave the country, especially if you do not commit criminality that is, you understand, like is against humanity, basically like terrorism, that kind of thing. Basically, you have a right to enter the country and to stay in the country of Nigeria. Likewise, if you are a citizen of Canada, you have the right to enter and to stay in the country. But if you are not a Canadian citizen, and that includes people like us, people like us that are permanent residents too. If we are not Canadian citizens, and that's why many people always quickly want to get their citizenship, not because of anything, because sometimes policies can change. Do you understand? Sometimes, okay, there's one policy now that Canada has where it was talking about the second generation citizens. Who are second generation citizens? These are citizens that they were not born in the country, but by virtue of them having parents that are now citizens of Canada, they can what? They can file for citizenship. But now, or before rather, they were saying that if you are second generation citizen and there is a particular time that you were meant to apply for citizenship, you did not apply for citizenship, or maybe you were disadvantaged that it was not your own immediate parents that were citizens, but your own grandparents, you may not be able to pass down that citizenship if your own parents didn't quickly get their own Canadian citizenship. Do you understand? So sometimes it may be beneficial for anybody that qualifies for citizenship now quickly get it so that you don't hear any stories that touch later on. So that is even for those that are citizens. They are now saying if you are not a Canadian citizen, you could be barred from entering Canada on account of criminal inadmissibility if you have a prior record. Even citizens that are Canadians already. Do you understand? Sometimes there are some crimes that they will commit that they will just take them to jail, they will fine them, they would arrest them, they will put them in bars and things like that. But they will not have to leave the country. But if you are the one that commits that crime, maybe you are a permanent resident, you are a citizen, I say sorry, you are a permanent resident, you are an international student, you are a temporary foreign worker, you are a visitor, or you are just a traveler that has not yet entered Canada. You are still at the port of entry, you are at the airport or the seaport or the land port. You are the port of entry, but you have now committed a crime in your home country. Or some people even say, okay, it's crime in home country. No, even crime on the airplane or crime when you are entering the country. Yes, there are sometimes you can commit crime on the airplane or when you are entering the country. For some people that want to, okay, on the airplane, for instance, if you bully someone, like you not even bully, I don't, if you harass someone, it could be counted as a crime. Do you understand? Again, if you enter the country and a visa officer asks you a question, so people don't know that those things are crimes. They ask you questions that, okay, have you had any convictions from your home country? This was a particular question they asked me from my own what? From my own port of entry. Have you committed a crime that you were convicted for? You know, now there's a difference. So you can have a crime that you were not convicted for. You can have a crime that you were, when they say something that you were convicted for, that means you appeared in court and the court stated that yes, you are guilty of this thing, and it was documented. It was something that yes, you served the time for, or you paid the fine for, or you were shall obligated or subjected to maybe like a community service for. You shall add something that you have to do or to pay for that particular crime. Do you understand? As a result of that, you can be found inadmissible when you are trying to enter Canada if you have had that previous record. Because when they say something is a record, something that is written down, that is documented. You understand? It may not even be only written, it can be You understand? Recorded. Voice recording, because now Oyinbo, there are sometimes that it may not be only writing, it may be recorded, it may be videoed. You understand? That's why some people, we always tell them your social media matters a lot. Many things that you post on social media, and when you want to come into Canada, they just browse your social media and say that this one he has committed. Some people don't even know what they post on social media is a crime. They don't even know. You understand? If you are threatening someone on social media, it's a crime. You understand? Threatening, like some people don't know all these things. You threaten, when our lawyer was telling us about one person that was threatening, and the person, that one self in its own is a crime. You are threatening someone that you kill the person, you do this, you do that. Just like we heard about the scenario of an immigration consultant, and she was saying that her client was threatening her because the client didn't get the visa. You understand? And different story, sha. And she later said that this one was threatening her to the extent that he says he knows her address, he will come. That is a life threat, a threat to life and security. And because of that, she had to file what they call it. She had to file for restriction. What is under Oyinbo they call it? I've forgotten that. There's one Oyinbo sharp. I've forgotten the Oyinbo that they said. But she had to file with the RCMP. The RCMP stands for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. RCMP. And many people don't know that they already have filed with RCMP. Imagine that you are in your home country, you threaten someone on social media, that person has already filed, you understand, a case on you with the RCMP, but because you are not in the jurisdiction of Canada, you are not in Canada already. Do you understand? They can't really act on it. Now imagine you now waited 2 months, 3 months, 6 months to now enter Canada. It is the time you now enter Canada, they now open your file. You are not wondering that I know how file in Canada. I've not been to Canada before. They will now ask you questions. Have you committed a crime? Especially now that it's not even a crime that you need to be physically present. They will ask, have you committed crime online? So you have to be very careful of what you do, because sometimes those little things people do that they say they are cruising online, they are doing, it can deter their opportunity to come into the country. You understand? So please, Canada places a strong emphasis on border security, especially now with the Trump era, especially now with US and the Trump administration. If you are someone that they feel that this person is a threat to national security, is a threat to the peace and the unity of the country, they will not allow you join enter, because they are going to screen individuals for potential risks. You understand? Risk to life, risk to property, risk to national safety. You understand? And they can deny you entry. They can deny anyone, not only you, anyone entry who may engage in what? In criminal activity while in the country. Because you may be wondering that, oh, I've not even entered the country. Then how can they know? Yes, they can know that you may engage in, because you that you're already online, you're already threatening people, you're already talking anyhow, divulging secrets of maybe organizations or companies and things like that. They may see that when you later enter the country, the thing that you were able to do easily online, you will also be willing to do it physically. So you have to be very careful that when you are online, anything that there's a rule of thumb. I ask myself this thing, will it benefit people? Will it be of advantage to people if I post it? If it is not of advantage, if it is something that is going to make people feel anyhow, feel offended, feel somehow, you understand? Just avoid it. Avoid it so that you are not complicated. You understand? Or you are not implicated, not complicated. You are not implicated unknowingly. Do you understand? Now the question now goes thus: what actions or offences make me inadmissible to Canada? I've said some offences. Some may be minor. and some may be major. Let's now look at it. They said in general, you could be found inadmissible to Canada on grounds of criminality if an act you committed is an offense in the country in which it was performed, as well as an offense in Canada at the time when it was performed. Now, this is where ambiguities come in law, because some people may feel that, oh, the offense I committed in my country, it was only recognized in my country. Or let's even put it in a case of Nigeria, where sometimes some things you may commit you may not be apprehended, you understand, by the law in the country. But that does not mean it is not an offense in the country. It's just that enforcement of law and order in Canada, in Nigeria, may not be as strong, may not be as, you understand, as tightly upheld like in Canada. So you may have committed an offense that just it's nothing now. It's anybody can do this one. Let me give you an example. Simple example of impersonation. Simple example. You impersonate. Oh, you go and use someone else information. You understand? To commit something. It may not even be an offense. It may not be an offense, but you impersonated someone doing something. For instance, in this case, it is a criminal offense to impersonate someone, taking someone's information, maybe like social insurance number, SIN, and be working with that person's social insurance number, the SIN number. You understand? But you may be looking at it that in Nigeria, should be just to, okay, what's your own name? Tola, yeah, Tola, your information, yeah, let me be using it to be collecting money. Collecting money like finance. That one is no fintech, that one is like fraud. You understand? Some people will not know that these things are implicating, but you do it. Is when you now do it, they have kept it, they have recorded it for you online. You don't know, you now come to the country, you are not looking like what happened to you. Because in Canada, it is an offense. In your country, it is not even, in your country, it may also be an offense, but you were not apprehended as a result of it. This place, it is an offense, and you can even now be apprehended for that particular offense. So to understand inadmissibility in Canada, it's important to delve into criminality and serious criminality. There's a difference. Criminality one side and the serious criminality. And there are some things that some people will commit. That's why I said there is minor and there are major. There are some major offenses that people don't even understand that they are major. Like what we call DUI. DUI is driving under the influence. Is a serious criminality in Canada. Serious one. But people will be looking at you say in Nigeria that we always drink with Gege, drink shark and everything, and and you come here, all those offenses, they bring it out for you like as if it's judgment day. So you have to be very careful. Now, you have to understand, depending on the severity of the offense under the Canadian law, at the time of the offense at the time when the offense was committed, they would judge it and see if you can enter Canada through it. Now, criminality is the first one. For criminality, you may be considered inadmissible. For criminality, it's not yet serious criminality. For criminality, last one, you may still be considered inadmissible if one, you have been convicted anywhere in the world. They don't even say only in your home country. You have been convicted anywhere in the world of a crime considered an indictable offense under Canadian law, or of two separate crimes considered summary offenses. Now let's break that down. Though I'm not a lawyer, let me put a disclaimer. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a consultant, I don't consider myself as an attorney, I am not a magistrate, I'm not a judge, I'm not anything. I am just saying what I saw on the cicnews.com website, which you too you can go and check. You understand? You can go and check. Now they said you were convicted of a crime anywhere in the world. It's not compulsory, it's only in Nigeria or in your home country. Anywhere in the world. And if they look at the Canadian law, they see that this offense is an offense that you can actually be indicted for in Canada. That's enough. is enough to show that you are inadmissible to Canada. Or you can you did two offenses that is considered summary offenses. You know Igbo, not even only Igbo, even Nigeria, anywhere that you commit crime, sometimes you may be thinking the crime you commit is just one. But when they bring the file of your crimes and they say, okay, number one, you do this, number two, you do this. You know, say on one crime, they have bring out 3 different or 4 different crimes they can charge you on. That's why it's very important to be very careful. Two, you have committed an act outside Canada that was both an offense in that country and an indictable offense in Canada. Now, what are they trying to let us know? They are trying to let us know that it is not compulsory that the offense you committed is an offense in Canada and your offense in another country. An offense in Canada is enough for the number one type of offense. So far, it is a crime in Canada, they can hold you to it. Two, because sometimes, just like I said, some of you may put on social media driving under the influence. You're doing big boy that will call you Gia or that will call you to Wahala. You are driving, and while you are driving, you have bottle. Now in Canada, people don't understand it. In Canada, for you to even have bottle inside car is crime. Which kind of bottle? Alcohol bottle. You are not drinking. They have not seen that you are drinking it though. They have not seen that you are drinking it. You shall just have it very close to where you are driving. Offense. So now imagine you that you are not drinking. It's not that you only have it in your car. It's not that you only have it in your trunk, but you have it. You are not drinking it. You now do big boy again online. That's the kind. I'm not a lawyer, so I cannot really say for sure. But I'm just trying to tell you that you may be thinking that the only offense you committed is just drinking alcohol while driving. You understand? They may count it that number one offense, you have alcohol in your car. Number one offense. Number two, the alcohol was open. Because that's another thing. I'm just, you understand, speculating. I'm not a lawyer, I've said it before, I've put a disclaimer. But just to let you know how your offenses can double easily, or how your charges can be multiplied. You have alcohol in your car, number one offense. Number two, the alcohol was open, hypothetically, another offense. Number three, you were not drinking the alcohol. Number three counts charge. Number four, you were not even posting it online. You understand? You thought you committed one offense, but they will now bring out the file of your offenses that, oh, in those acts of drinking while driving, you have committed at least 4 to 5 atrocities. Imagine, see how you know that, because even in your speech while you are driving, you can even now be encouraging people that shaking it in Nigeria, you can drive while drinking. You understand? That one, they may bring it again as another charge of instigating, you understand, abetting and encouraging people to drink while driving, another offense. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So you have to be very careful that you don't implicate yourself unknowingly. Do you understand? You don't implicate yourself unknowingly. Now, indictable offenses are more serious crimes. They are not just like mere offenses. Comparable to felonies in the United States. While summary conviction offenses are less serious compared to US misdemeanors. Now, what are serious crimes or serious criminality? You could be inadmissible on account of serious criminality if, number one, you were convicted of a crime in Canada, or you were convicted in Canada of a crime punishable by a maximum prison sentence of 10 years or longer, or for which you were sentenced to more than 6 months in prison. Now look at this one. They said when it is serious criminality, Serious criminality is a criminality that, in fact, someone that has been in Canada before can be found inadmissible for and be basically deported back to the country that they came from. That is if their crime was punishable for a sentence of 10 years or more, and they were not even and or they were sentenced to more than 6 months in prison. That's why even whilst in Canada, you must be very careful and not do anything that will cause wahala. Two, outside Canada, you were convicted of or committed an offence punishable in Canada by a maximum prison sentence of 10 years or longer. So either or, it's not a combination of and. Either or, whether outside Canada or inside Canada, whether sentence of 10 years or more, or whether 6 months of prison term can lead you to inadmissibility in Canada. Now, minor offences such as speeding tickets or parking tickets cannot render you inadmissible to Canada. For instance, we that were driving in the country, the first ticket ever I got was the parking ticket. The first ticket. And it was an innocent crime or an innocent offense. I was going to the mosque. In fact, I was already inside the mosque. I parked and this was an offense that you were not informed. But of course, they said ignorance is not an excuse in law. Ignorance is not an excuse. Instead of you being ignorant, you have to learn it so that you don't fall prey of them. Because that's what happened to me basically. I parked to my own knowledge. I parked well. To my own knowledge, I parked sanely with brain. But when they came to see me, they said, no, this guy is not parked well. And how was it? When the traffic is going, especially traffic by the right, it's going to be going like this. It's going to be going like this. The front of the car is going to be like this. The back of the car is going to be here, right? So, for me, instead of me parking my car like this, the front of the car should be like this and the back of the car should be like this for the traffic on the right. I went to park like this. I parked, you understand, at the curb where the back of the car is at the front and the front of the car is at the back. That's how I parked. As a result of that, they gave me tickets. And I was so shocked, but I got the ticket and I had to pay. You understand? Because the ticket means you have to pay a certain amount, like a fine, to actually make sure that offense is gone. Two, speeding tickets. Have I gotten a speeding ticket before? Yes, I think I've gotten one before. Yes, I think one. Yes, I got one parking ticket and one speeding ticket. After that, I didn't get any other. But the speeding ticket too, very innocent. Well, I can't say it's innocent, but this one, there was a school, and Canada are very, very particular with it. Is it a school? No, I don't think it was a school. It was a community area. It wasn't a school because school is 40 kilometer per hour. But community areas was 50 kilometer per hour. Yeah, 50 kilometer. So walking or rather driving and you go beyond that 50. If you go beyond that 50, you could be ticketed. And I think that's what I did. I went beyond the 50, I think, is it 52? No, it's not even 52. Wait, I think 60 or something. I've forgotten the amount, but the basic thing is if you go beyond, and in most cases you go beyond, not just going beyond by 5 kilometer, you understand, or 3 kilometer, but beyond like 10 plus, you get ticketed for that. Okay, so moving on. A driving under the influence charge, I think I talked about that, DUI, can, however, as a DUI, is a serious offense under Canadian law. I've known that one before. That's why, in fact, before I even drive, I'm always looking. Wait, is there? Oh, thank God I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any of this rubbish. But to be forewarned is to be forearmed, right? So I'm always checking the car before I drive that. Hope there's no nonsense in the car. Because just like I said before, not even drinking, but having that bottle in your car can be an offense and you can be charged for it. So it is not a matter of, oh, I'm not drinking, oh, I don't drink, oh, he's not going to avoid stories. Avoid stories that touch. Don't Kuku even have anything but to like in your car. Okay, let's move on. So where you are inadmissible on account of criminality or serious criminality, it has some important implications. You understand? For your options for overcoming inadmissibility. So before you can begin to address criminal inadmissibility, you need to know the equivalent offenses under the Canadian law, along with the seriousness of the offenses at the time at which you committed the offense. And that is very important. Any offense that you have committed afresh, for example, like you committed it within just few weeks or few days or few months of coming to Canada, could affect you more than the one that you have committed maybe years ago, 5, 10, 15 years ago, especially when they have rehabilitated. We'll still get to that. Okay, so he said, I think I might be inadmissible. So what can I do? If you think you are inadmissible, you might be inadmissible because of you understand, your own situation. If you have a criminal record, you may be able to still enter Canada if you can overcome criminal inadmissibility. So just like I said, it is not a fixed rule that, oh, because you have crime, you cannot enter Canada. Because you have committed one thing or the other before. No, it's not. But there are three ways to do this. The first way is to get what we know as a temporary residence permit. A temporary residence permit is often the quickest way to overcome criminal inadmissibility when seeking entry to Canada. It is a document that allows someone who is criminally inadmissible to enter Canada, you understand, for a specific reason and a specific time, a specific period. That said, TRPs are issued at the discretion of the what? Of a Canadian immigration official. And to obtain one, you must be able to convince them you have a compelling reason to visit Canada and demonstrate why your visit is what? Why it is justified. Because not all visits are justified. You understand? If you have gotten a 2-year ban, a 3-year ban, a 5-year ban, it will be more difficult for you to explain. Example, let's look at that. They say, example of compelling reasons in this context could include specific events such as a wedding, family emergencies, or conducting essential business. If you require a visa to enter Canada, you must apply for a TRP at the same time as applying for a visitor visa. You understand? And you must also provide supporting documents explaining why you are inadmissible and why it may be justified for you to enter what? Canada. Just like they say, it is at the discretion of the visa official. So they can either deny you or they can accept you. It is not that, oh, I've submitted TRP application, so I must get approved. No, it is not as that. They deny TRP applications too, and they can also what? They can also approve it. So if you require an electronic travel authorization, ETA, to enter Canada, you may need to apply for what? For a TRP at a Canadian visa office in your country or region. The TRP application process and forms, they vary according to the country from which you are what? You are applying from. And of course, said the government does not publish the processing times for TRP applications. They don't. But it could take between 3 months and 6 months. So if you want to enter Canada, maybe like in December, you have to start working on your TRP this June or July. You have to submit it latest July. So it's best to start planning as soon as possible to avoid what? Disappointment. If you are an American citizen or permanent resident of the US, a green card holder, you can submit a TRP application at a Canadian consulate or at the port of entry into Canada, be it land, sea, or air borders. However, approval is at the discretion of the border official and is not guaranteed. So TRPs can be issued for a single entry, or it can also be issued for multiple entries. Now, let's now check if you qualify for deemed rehabilitation. And that is the second way for you to come into Canada, even with criminality. If you would be inadmissible on account of criminality, you may be deemed rehabilitated, you understand, by Canadian immigration authorities if enough time has passed. Now we're talking about the time. The timing also, it's really important in this scenario. For instance, if it's 10 years for a single indictable offense or 5 years for summary offenses only, if you were convicted, this time is counted from when you completed your sentence. If you were convicted, you were not convicted, from when you committed the act. Even if you meet the necessary requirements, deemed rehabilitation is not guaranteed. It is at the discretion of the officer. Now look at it. You may notice something, that the first one, the TRP, at the discretion of the official. The second one, deemed rehabilitation, also at the discretion of the what? At the officer. So nothing. And I kind of feel it's not even only these ones. Even PR application, even many of it is always at the discretion of the visa officer. They may choose to accept you, they may choose to deny you. We have seen some people that all their documents, it may just be one document that they are not okay with. It may just be one letter that you write that is not convincing enough. You understand? So there's nothing that is even sure. Nothing is 100%, as I always tell people. So when attempting to enter Canada as deemed rehabilitated, ensure you do everything you can to present what the strongest possible case to Canadian officials. A legal opinion letter is another way. It may be helpful in presenting your case for deemed rehabilitation. Deemed rehabilitation cannot apply in cases of what? In cases of serious criminality. Now, apply for criminal rehabilitation. That is the third way for you to become eligible even after criminal inadmissibility. So if you do not qualify for deemed rehabilitation, you may apply for criminal rehabilitation, also called individual rehabilitation in certain circumstances. If approved and you are granted criminal rehabilitation, you will no longer considered you will no longer be considered inadmissible on account of the crime or the crimes for which you applied, and can enter Canada without even needing a TRP, right? You can apply for criminal rehabilitation if at least 5 years have passed since you have completed all aspects of your sentence. This includes your jail term, your probation completion, your fines paid, and the completion of community service hours. Criminal rehabilitation clears your record for the purpose of entering Canada, but does not protect against future offenses. So, if you committed a crime even after you have been rehabilitated, that one will start another issue entirely for your inadmissibility. So better don't commit any crime even after, you understand, after that one. And I don't believe someone that wants to really that wants to be considered serious will even go and commit another crime after the first one. Okay, so criminal rehabilitation, as I said, it clears your what records. But if you are eligible, you should submit an application at the earliest opportunity, as processing times can be very lengthy, can be quite lengthy, you understand, for criminal rehabilitation. It is also possible to apply for a TRP while your criminal rehabilitation application is being what? Processed. The TRPs are usually processed more quickly. Do you understand? And that is to tell you that criminal rehabilitation, unlike TRP that can take 3 to 6 months, criminal rehabilitation can take longer. Do you understand? So criminal rehabilitation can overcome serious criminality as well as criminality. It can overcome the two. The two. So a legal opinion letter, some people may be asking, we talked about the legal opinion letter. What is it? If you are planning on visiting Canada but have a prior record, a legal opinion letter might prove useful. It might prove helpful. This is a document drafted by an immigration lawyer that provides a detailed analysis of your criminal history, assess how your offenses equate to a crime under Canadian law, and makes the case for why you should be allowed into Canada. For instance, we have our immigration lawyer that helps with number one, TRP, temporary residence permit. It helps with deemed rehabilitation and helps with criminal rehabilitation. Do you understand? Okay, someone is saying this Jada 234. Bro, I need your help. If you need her help, you can ask your questions right now in the live session. That's why we come on live sessions to answer questions. Ask your questions on the live. If and that's the free way you can do that. If you can't do that, you can reach out to us through direct message, but go through the link that will be sent to you for the direct message in order to book a consultation with either me or our immigration partners. That could actually help you more. Okay, let's move on. So a legal opinion letter basically can be a valuable tool whether you are applying for a TRP, whether you are applying for criminal rehabilitation, even deemed rehabilitation, or you are making the case that you qualify for that deemed rehabilitation. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Please, do we have any questions based on all what we said today, based on the article we read? If we have any questions, please drop it in the comment section so that we can respond to it before we call it a day. And let's see how we can respond to people before before um, before we move. So please drop your questions in the comment section. Let us know if we can respond to your questions before we call it a day. And please, if you don't have any questions, don't forget to like, to share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, hit on the notification bar to get notified anytime we drop a content or anytime we come on live, because we have been coming on live from back to back. So you can always get notified anytime we are live currently. This will be one of the few times we have had live on a Sunday. You understand? For those that are not you understand clients, for our clients, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes we always you understand juggle those times to actually have our live sessions. If you have any questions, please drop it on the comment section. And don't forget to join us every week. At least we have live sessions at least once for the public. Do you understand? At least once for our clients. Of course, we have lives every week. So you can always join live and get educated about what you don't know about Canadian immigration, about language studies, about exam preparation, about career abroad, and even international business. So thank you very much. If we don't have any questions, then we'll call it a day. Really appreciate everyone for joining today, and do have a nice day ahead. Do have a nice evening, or for those that are in Nigeria, or a nice weekend for those in Canada. So thank you very much, and bye for now. Au revoir. Bye bye.